Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Manny here from Conquer TCG, and today I'm bringing you my top 32 grandest deck profile. So this past weekend, I was actually able to get 29th place at the regional on Saturday at Gen Con, which is super dope. Also this weekend, another huge milestone that we hit was 100 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody for subbing and getting us this far. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the profile. So as always, we will start with the babies. We are running for Yokomon. All the babies we're running. I know a lot of people are running a 5th Digitama. Not needed. If you ever get to a 5th Digitama, you probably already lost at that point. Plus that 2K buff actually comes in clutch a lot of matches. Next, we're running for the start the rookies off. We are running for Palmon. I know a lot of people cut this, but the jamming comes up, especially sometimes you're not able to go into Grandis, and there's so many Digimon running around that are plus 13k or 13k and over. So jamming comes up clutch so much. I wouldn't cut it past I would only run it at 4. Next, we run for the Searcher Kuwagamon, X-Antibody on play. I have 1 card with Insectoid or Machine in its traits and 1 X-Antibody card among them. And then place the rest on the bottom of the deck. Next, we are running 3 Terriermon. You definitely need the memory stop for a lot of matches. Everybody is running their memory boost. Red memory boost, green memory boost, whatever it is. So kind of mitigate that a little bit. And in the alpha matchup, sometimes they need that 1 memory from the Dex Darugamon. So that'll help mitigate that and pass the turn over to you. Next, we're running to Lala. I am going back and forth whether I really want to run this card or not. Kind of want to just run a 4th Terriermon because it comes in so clutch, but it did come up where I was rookie starved essentially, and that Digiburst ability to add back to hand came in super clutch, so it might stay, who knows. Next, for the champions, we are running for Weedmon. Digiburst, gain 1 memory, super clutch. A lot of times you'll start at 3. If you can't go, or if you don't have the Akua X-Antibody, you will be digivolving for the 3, and this will allow you to still go into Grandis and keep your turn and do Grandis things. Next, I don't know if this is super spicy, but we are running 3 Sneemon. Basically, it is a security Digimon, and on play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. This card came in super clutch this past weekend, where it would come out of security and suspend the last attack that they thought that they had for game and clutched out some wins. Also, sometimes with the Sneemon, it coming out of security is something that your opponent is not ready for. So they think they have enough blockers, or they think they have game, or because you don't have the Digimon to swing, but that Sneemon coming out clutches it. Next, we're running 2 Kabuteru. Blocker does come up this set a little bit, a lot more prevalent now than past formats, and also Digivolves for 1. Another thing about the Sneemon and Kabuteru, they are both searchable by the Kakua X-Antibody. For the last champion, we are running 1 Metal Kabuteru. I decided to go with the Metal Kabuteru as opposed to the Arbormon that everybody was running, just because it does suck to Digivolve for 3 if it's your only level 4. That doesn't happen too often, but a lot of times you can go over the Mimi or over a Green Tamer and swing for game. That does come up a little bit, but also it helps you dig a little bit deeper into your deck by Digivolving over another level 4. And if you have a perfect line, that also helps out with being able to Digiburst 2 more to be able to swing for 4 checks and potentially winning out game. Next, for the ultimates, running for Kuwagamon, this card is cracked. So basically, if you don't know what it does, Inheritable gives you piercing. That is always nice, especially when you have things like the Aqua X-Antibody that will suspend something. Also, Grandis suspends something when digivolving, and once it attacks, it'll unsuspend itself. And if your opponent has something that is suspended or unsuspended, it can suspend that as well. But the main thing about this card that's so good is when you digivolve over it with an Insectoid, until the end of your opponent's turn, all your opponent's Digimon gain the ability, when that Digimon becomes suspended, lose 1 memory. So it's a mini Ice Wall, essentially. Next, we'll go with the Aqua X-Antibody for the last ultimates. And again, if you have an X-Antibody option under or an Akuamon, it procs the effect when digivolving to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Also, a super cool thing that you can do if you do have the X-Antibody option underneath your stack, when you swing, let's say you swing with your Akuamon, you can redirect the attack. So swing Akuamon into security, use the X-Antibody when digivolving effect, and then digivolve into the cool X-Antibody, redirect the attack into the Digimon that you just suspended. Another clutch thing is also, if you have that cool X-Antibody, or the Digimon that digivolves over that, reduces its cost by 1. So now your GrandisKuwaga is only 2. It would be super unfortunate, but digivolving over the Aqua X-Antibody into Grandis will also allow you to digivolve for 3 as opposed to the 4. Speaking of the megas, we are running for GrandisKuwaga. If you don't know what it does, Digiburst 2, and you can choose 1 Digimon on your field to gain security attack +1, and it's not once per turn. So as long as you have the sources, you can Digiburst. Next, for the last megas, we are running for Grandis, and I kind of went over it a little bit, but you digivolve over a GrandisKuwaga for only 1 cost. When digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then this also has the effect to redirect the attack. So if you're swinging with GrandisKuwaga but you have the X-Antibody option underneath it, you can suspend one of their big stacks, and then now you can swing into that big stack. I think I went over it a little bit earlier as well, but after the attack, at the end of attack, you can unsuspend that and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon as well. Next, for the Tamers, we are only running 3 Mimi. Super necessary for the deck. Helps you kind of search a little bit. Once you get that into that Akua or that level 5, you're able to tap the Mimi, hatch something, an egg, if you don't already have it, and dig a little bit deeper. If you do have an egg, the Mimi actually will allow you to tap it as long as you have a level 5 or higher Digimon to then raise a Digimon, which is super clutch. And sometimes that's all you need. Is basically hybrid for game at that point. Next, for the options, we are running for Green Memory Boost. Everybody knows what it does. Everybody's playing it. Super clutch. Search a little bit more, and then also to be able to go all the way up your line and just apply a ton of pressure. Next, we are running 2 X-Antibody options. The X-Antibody option is amazing, and I wouldn't run it without it. I know a lot of people are cutting it, but in security, it gains you 1 memory. Sometimes that's all you need to go ahead and pass turn and win your game. And then also it'll add to hand from security, and then this is what allows you to proc all those effects if you don't have the requirement for the X-Antibodies, to be able to swing, redirect the attack, suspend Digimon, and go off. And then the final 2 cards are going to be Electroshocker. I know some people are cutting it completely or maybe running it as a one of. which is totally fine if you want to run it as a one of. I think the card is cracked. A lot of times somebody will go up this big line and put so much time into one line, and then you just say, hey, return that to hand, and they lost everything that they did. So pretty dope. That's gonna be all though, and again, thank you everybody for subscribing and getting me to that 100 mark. If you guys do like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment down below. If you guys have any other like crazy techs as well, I would love to hear any techs that you have for the deck to make mine a little bit better. I know Ground Fang is an option as well. Not a huge fan of it, just because you can't always proc both effects to be able to return one Tamer and a Digimon, which it would be nice. It feels really good in security though, and you know, from hand it's an A cost, so essentially Gaia Force. And actually I lied, it does not return to hand, it will bottom deck them, which is even better. But that's gonna be all. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Deuces.